Cards and Comic Show. Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Here is my part 2 of February's Epic Mail Day. Now, remember in part 1, I separated all my Griffies out. Now, I normally don't do videos in the morning, so the sun is shining through my man cave. So I'm going to do a different angle, so there isn't quite as much glare. We'll get right into it. I'll try to do this one quick. I know the last one's a little long. So here we go. We got 2 packs of 85 tops. I love packs with Hall of Famers on front. So here's one with Reggie Jackson on the front, and here's one with Wade Boggs on the front. I will probably get these sent in for grading at some point, just because I think, long-term hold. I do have a little bit of an unopened collection of packs and graded packs. So to me, these are fun. Take up much less space than wax boxes, and having stars on the front makes it, just kind of cool. Next up is 2 sketch cards from the DC Universe. Remember, I collect DC cards. I'm selling my Marvel cards for anyone who's, keeping up the channel. I'm selling everything but a few characters in Marvel. Like Spider-Man, I'm keeping Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, and a few characters around the Spider-Man universe. And I'm really just focusing on my PC. But I do PC DC cards because they're really cheap. And I like the characters better, for the most part. Now, here is a really cool Batman sketch. The guy put a lot of effort into it. I think you can see the name right there, Abrera, and just a great sketch card. And I believe these came from Cryptozoic. There you go, 2012. So these are still pretty old. These are like 11 years old sketch cards, but that's a really nice one. Didn't have a Batman sketch card, so I want to get a really nice one, and that one's pretty cheap. Next up is one of my favorite sketch card subjects is the Watchmen. And here's another Rorschach sketch. So I'll probably have 3 Rorschachs now. My goal is to get all the Watchmen. So there you go. R. Molinelli. I don't know, but it's a nice sketch card. Very cool. I love the fact that it's so stylized, meaning that instead of just being like a basic inked over sketch, they shaded it and they did some really cool things to it to make it a little stand out. Next up is hockey. Now, I don't do a lot of hockey, but I do some. For people who tune in, I have done a few hockey things. First up, a vintage hockey card. I like this card a lot. Don Cherry. I believe it's his rookie card. This is the Don Cherry 74 O-Pee-Chee. So it's not tops, it's O-Pee-Chee. You can see the O-Pee-Chee back. You can see printed in Canada right there. Yeah, I saw it at an auction. I decided to grab it. I liked it because it was super well centered. And there you go. My Don Cherry rookie card, I believe. Just kind of fun. I know some folks don't like him, I think. I don't know. Not a, or a little controversial figure. I don't know. Next up is a Topps Chrome Refractor. Let's see what year it's from here. 1999. 1999 All Topps Ray Bork Refractor. Boston's really hot right now. They look like the best team in the NHL. So I live in the area, so I thought I'd just pick up some more 90s refractors when I can. If you see my hockey video, you see I did that a little bit like Mario Lemieux, and just went through the years and grabbed as many cool refractors as I could at the time. And when I see them again, I still pick them up from time to time. And again, that was just one I picked up. Next up, football. My only vintage football pickup was this one. It's a cool card, 65 Unitas. The 65 Philadelphia sets, one of the second rarest set. The 66, I believe, is the rarest set. So they kept going down in print, probably why they went out of business. As far as print runs, this one's off center, you can see, but it's one of those like really cool off center cards that's more like an 8OC than it is a straight 6. So for the case, the eye appeal is still good, color is still good. So I grabbed it. It's a cheapy card, for Johnny Unitas. And I like going to shows having vintage cards that aren't $200-$400. These are in the affordable $60 to $80 range for a lot of collectors, and it presents really well. And if you're putting set together, you may really enjoy that card. Now, moving on to my 90s cards. I'm going to try to make sure I don't get them all mixed up here. We'll go with the cheaper ones first. Upper Deck Diamond Gallery. Again, this is from, I think, 1999. This was like an insert out of UD Black Diamond. Again, really shiny prismatic foil. Today, this would be like a case it or something. I believe this was like 1 every 4 packs. So these weren't rare, but they just look cool. So I grabbed it for like less than $5. Next up is, again, not a player I collect, but it just went really cheap. So this is from, let's see, I think 2000 maybe. Yeah, 2000. Bowman's Best Emmitt Smith refractor. Just the base refractor. Nothing, special, no die cuts, no colors, just the base refractor. Emmitt Smith card number 60. And again, you can see 2000 Bowman. So yeah, just a cool refractor. Nothing other than just, one of the better players of the 90s on a cool refractor. That's it. Now, next up is a massive card for me. And it looks really nice. I've looked it over. It's going to go get graded. And just one of the cooler inserts ever made. Cut above Barry Sanders. Still in the eBay authentication. Haven't busted out yet. I was going to look at it first to make sure there isn't anything really hidden on it. It looks really sharp. So it's probably going to get graded. And again, this is one of the best, insert sets, in my opinion, ever made. The hockey cards, the football cards, the basketball cards, not hockey, the baseball cards are all, some of the most sought after inserts, even though, like, let's say, not PMG or credentials level yet, but they are highly collectible. And a lot of people put the sets together because once you get past the 2 stars in most sets, the value goes down to where you can probably get the set. So if you got the Jordan, you can put the basketball set together. If you get the Griffey, then you can put the baseball set together pretty easily. So again, the Sanders is the most expensive in the football set. So now I have it. And I collect Barry Sanders, and there's the back for people who want to see the back. It is number 1 of 10. Obviously, he is the coolest one in the set. You got 97. Now, if it just grades an 8, I'm still happy. So, because these cards are notoriously hard to, with all the die cuts, to get chipping. And you can see, if you look at the tips here, you can see a little whiting right at that edge. But that's just how these cards are. So it may come back as an 8, which is fine. And then last but not least, if you're on my Instagram, you see this. This is definitely one of my favorite cards I picked up in a long time, and it makes me want the Griffey version of this so much more. It's the Pulsar's Peyton Manning Full of Brilliance rookie card. Man, this card is super nice. Just don't know what to say about it. It's one of the nicer insert rookies of Peyton Manning. I mean, even the back, look at how shiny the back is. It's Pulsars. This is mislabeled. So this is the old grade. So the 9's up here. So it's 1 line. So that's an old grade before the 8.5s. And they just didn't label right. This should be a 98 Full of Brilliance Peyton Manning Shiny Stars Pulsar is what it should say. So again, it's mislabeled in the pop report as well. So, but one of the nicest looking insert sets, I think, that's out there. Just such a cool card. I love it. So shiny. It's shinier than a lot of Topps Chrome cards. I mean, let's be honest. This card definitely, Flair was taking their game up quite heavily. Another great thing about this card is that it's Peyton Manning in a NFL uniform, not a college uniform. A lot of his Topps cards, or some of them, have him still in a college uni, which hurts the value in my opinion. And last but not least, just a card I picked up. Well, actually, I have another card here. Sorry. Not last but not least, but just cool card, just the Optic Prism or Optic Hollow. Hertz rookie card, PSA 9. Again, really cheap. I picked this up I think right after the Super Bowl, so it was a little cheaper, and I still think he'll play well next year. Last but not least, this is a Johnny Unitas. I think it's 2001 Topps. When they did the whole inserted every card of his as a reprint, and they had the autograph version. But Topps does this weird, and I've looked across the board. They do this with every one of these cards. They don't say 2001 Topps, like Johnny Unitas tribute set or whatever. They just label it trading card, Johnny Unitas. It's kind of dumb. I think it's because it's before their would authenticate autos from a certain year. I think, what was it? I don't know. Like, I thought it was like around 97, 98. They, where they have to authenticate the auto. Because here they did. They authenticated the auto, but they didn't put the set on the card. So maybe it wasn't in the database. Again, this is old. The one line PSA holder, the PSA grade means that it was before the 8.5. I don't know. Just seems like an odd way of doing it. Maybe they'll relabel these if I, make a stink about it or just bring it up. Next up is some baseball vintage. A really nice one here is a 60 Frank Robinson. PSA 7, really, really nice color. And just a super, super cool card. I've always loved this card. It's a little off center. You can one thing about the PSA cards is that little lip there kind of hides the border sometimes, like shadow it, and then you can kind of see right there how it's not as terribly off center as it looks when you have that shadow there. So it's a little off center left to right, but still a very presentable card. Not a lot of print, and just a really nice card. And for a 7, having nice cards of 7s is still a good thing. Next up is again Boston area, Tony Conigliaro. 66 Topps. I just, when cards like this come up for cheap, $30-$40, I grab them because I sell them in the Boston area really easily. So that's 66 Topps, Tony Conigliaro, PSA 7. Next up is one for the PC. It is a 70 O-Pee-Chee home run leaders with Willie McCovey, Hank Aaron, and Lee May. PSA 7. And again, I collect O-Pee-Chee cards and Hall of Fame O-Pee-Chee cards from the 70s, 60s, and 70s, and I love this card because, again, all Peachy cards are much harder to get than Topps cards, and having Hank Aaron on the card makes it really cool. You can see Mr. Aaron. He hit 44 home runs, and Willie McCovey beat him by 1. All right, moving on to some modern cards here, baseball cards. First up, significant signatures. Willie McCovey, hey, the guy we just talked about. This was one of the early insert sets that came out. I believe this came out in, was it 97? Let's see if I got my year right. Or maybe 98. 98. So, it's on card, and you can see not too streaky, a little right there, but I don't think too bad. These are really fun. There's Koufax, George Brett. I mean, there's a lot of great Hall of Famers in the set. A lot of people put the set together because it's really cheap. You can get a lot of these Hall of Famers in the set now for like $20. So, and you can tell why, because they printed, there's 2,000 of these signatures, so obviously not hard to get compared to modern insert autos. So, just a cool card. And on card, so don't break into bank on some Hall of Fame autos there. Next up, 98 Topps Chrome, Deion Sanders refractor. Just a cool card. With him in the news, with him going to Colorado, I believe, as a football coach, and kind of just him being in the news a lot last college football season. His cards have taken off, especially some of the harder to get inserts. I did, in my 90s update just recently, I talked about one of his cards that sold for a ton. So again, Deion Sanders is, one of those minor stars like Bo Jackson from the 90s that people collect heavily. And now that he's still relevant in the news, like his card's still popped out. Just a cool refractor. Again, a 98 Topps Chrome, Deion Sanders refractor. Just a lot of fun. Fun card to have. And again, it's something that if you go to shows, people just love buying those kind of cards. Here's a card that I really like, and even though it's an 8, I know purists out there screaming that these cards should only be in 10s because that's the only way to collect them. But you know me, I don't pay attention to grades too much on the 90s insert stuff. I just like having the card. This is one of those really awesome die cuts. You can see those are die cuts there. The Bowman's Best Cuts. This is like one of the probably the nicest year they ever did these sets. Just from aesthetics, those diamond die cuts are just cool. The swirls. And this is an atomic refractor. This is just the refractor. The atomics are just awesome. And the one thing I didn't realize until I really looked at this card is the name is cut out too. So a lot of people don't mention the fact that where it says Best Cuts, that's also laser cut into the card. Just an awesome design. Like whoever did this just designed it awesome. Like they reprinted this set, I think 5 or 6 years ago with no die cuts. And they just put little colored, diamonds. It's dumb. Like this is what I hate about nostalgia sets. They don't do it right because it doesn't give you the nostalgic feel because you can automatically see, oh, the card doesn't look right. And it makes you feel like they're just lazy and also kind of like taking your childhood and just using it to monetize themselves and not even doing it right. And that's what I feel like when these companies try to redo these sets and don't do them the right way. This card is an amazing looking card. It's not super expensive, but when they reprinted it, they did it so badly that it made me want to go out and just buy the originals because they were so much better. And here we go. Not last and not least, well, we'll do this one first just because I'm putting this set together. So here's a green Crusade for my set. Matt Morris, really, really good player for a long time. Again, they're numbered to 250, a Cardinal. But yeah, just an awesome player for a long time. I'm not sure he's going to be Hall of Fame worthy, but he was a good player for a long time. And then last is the blue Team Finest Jeter. And anyone who just watched me open my 99 Finest box, I pulled the exact same card in the box. And again, they're numbered to 1500. There you go. So I actually just bought this, and then I opened the 99 Finest box, and I pulled the same card that I just bought as a PSA 9. So I got a raw now too. So I might do a giveaway. If anyone wants that card, I'll do a giveaway on my next live stream. I am going to be live streaming sometime soon. Probably either the second or third week of March. I'll put a notice out like I normally do and give you guys a warning or heads up. Got a lot of things to talk about. I'm a little over the hump in terms of work. I'll be going to Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and Spain coming up, and I'm also going back to Chile. So 2 international trips coming up for me as well. So I want to get some lives in before I get to those trips because those are kind of hard to do when I'm traveling like that. So I want to get a live in and talk to some folks and maybe even try to get a guest on. We'll see how it works out. But there it is, guys. My second mail day of from February. So this is kind of an update, but this is part 2, non-Griffey cards. Thanks, and I'll see you next time in Cards and Comics. Bye.